The next one's there. You are classifying numbers as rational or irrational. Rational numbers technically are anything that you can write in the form of a fraction. But rational numbers can include a whole lot of things. Rational numbers, besides being fractions, could be whole numbers. If I have a whole number, I can put it over 1 and make it into a fraction, right? 5 over 1 is a whole number. I can also have terminating decimals. Terminating decimals like 5.2 is 5 and 2/10. So I can write 5 and 2/10 as a mixed number or a fraction. Also repeating decimals like 1/3. 1/3 can be changed to a fraction, or 1/3, it is a fraction. Repeating decimals, 0.333333 is the fraction 1/3. So when you're looking at rational numbers, technically they're fractions, but they include whole numbers, terminating decimals, and repeating decimals, as well as all your fractions. Irrational numbers. Irrational numbers are technically non-terminating, non-repeating decimals. What I mean by that is if you would grab your calculator and put in the square root of 7 and hit equals. If you take your calculator and put in the square root of 7, what shows up on your calculator screen? 2.64 ... keeps going and going and going. It never ends and it never repeats. So when you're going to get an irrational number, it's going to be something that you have a square root or some other radical, but they're just going to do square roots of something that doesn't come out to be a nice whole number, or it's going to be something with pi. What's pi besides something you eat? It's 3.14159 ... and keeps going and going and going forever. Usually we round it off to 3.14, but it really keeps going on and on and on and on forever. So when you're looking at your list, you're going to have two ways that you have irrational numbers. A square root that is not a perfect square is going to be irrational, and anything with pi is going to be irrational. All of the rest should be in that big long list we have of rational numbers. Terminating decimals, which is the top one, or repeating decimals, which is the top one because it has that bar there. Here, although we have a square root, it is a perfect square. If you do the square root of 49, you get 7, which is a nice whole number, which is rational. And then, of course, the bottom one is a fraction, which is what a rational number really is by definition. So when I'm doing these ones, what I do is I look for the irrational ones, because you have a whole lot less choices of irrational numbers. Pick those ones out first. The rest should all go in your rational column. So if I look at number 5, which two values on that list are going to be your irrational values? 19 pi and square root of 3. So we said the ones with pi and the square roots that are not perfect squares are irrational. The rest should be in your rational column. 5/10 is a fraction, which is what a rational number is. Then we have 6.82 with the bar, it's a repeating decimal. And then we have negative square root of 16, and 16 is a perfect square. So if we had to write it as a fraction, we could. So on number 6 there, which two of those are going to be your irrational values?
-3 square root of 2.
-3 square root of 2.
And pi.
And the bottom one, which is just pi. And so the negative 20, or the 24.89, -3/6, and negative square root of 4 are all going to be rational.